Okay, well, if... Oh, I got cramp in my toe. Oh my god, it just fell. Oh my god, ow. Okay, well, if... Oh, I got cramp in my toe. Oh my god, it just fell. Hello my beautiful friends and welcome back to my channel. We've got quite a fair few friends on our face today. We've got one here, one up here. You know, it's that time of the month. So on the count of 3, we're all going to welcome our friends into the video. So 1, 2, 3. Hi friend, how you doing? So as you can all probably tell by the title of the video, we're going to be talking about boys. We like boys in cars. Boys, buy us drinks in bars. Boys. So I do get quite a lot of boy-related messages from you guys, like different scenarios and situations you find yourselves in, like asking me for advice about different things. So I thought it might be best to just sit down and do a whole video about it because, let's be honest, boys affect a lot of us. So, you know, we're going to sit down today, have a little girly chat, talk all things boys, and yeah, so make sure you've got a cup of tea, some snacks, and we're just going to chill and have chats about the boys. It feels like we're all at a little sleepover together talking about boys. Like, oh, exciting. So I asked you guys to send me questions on Instagram and Twitter, and you guys came true with the questions. I've got some really good questions to answer today, so I just want to jump into this and get started and get through as many questions as I possibly can. So before we jump in, guys, please don't forget to smash a big thumbs up if you enjoy this, as it helps me out so very much, and please subscribe down below if you haven't already, and turn on the little bell so you get notified every time I upload. Okay, before I answer any questions, guys, I just want to say that I'm not an expert. This is just my own opinion based on the experience that I have had and my own advice based on the experiences that I have had. So just a little disclaimer. Okay, so the first question is warning signs that a boy is using you / lying to you. And can I just say that I have had my fair few experiences of boys using / lying to me. So, you know, I do know my stuff on this one. Well, I'd like to think so. You know, I've been through it enough times. I've seen a lot of it in my friends, and yeah. Okay, so I think the first thing I would say is that he would probably go hot and cold a lot. So basically, like, he'll come around when he feels like it, and then he'll just disappear. So he'll basically like come around and then pull away, and then come back when it suits him. So like, it's always on his terms, if you know what I mean. I feel like if you don't know where you stand with him and you're always questioning where you stand with him, what's going on? Does this guy like me? Is he actually interested? What are we? Are we friends? Are we more? I feel like if you're always questioning yourself and your relationship with this guy, that is a huge sign that he's using you. I've found myself in this position quite a few times where you're like, you know, asking yourself like, what's going on? Are we this? Are we that? Is he interested? Is he not? And the reason you're asking yourself all these questions are because he's giving you such mixed signals. Like, he's coming and he's going, and you know what I mean? Like, he's just basically messing you around the place. And if a guy has you questioning anything about him, that can be quite a sign that he's using you, because it basically means that he's not letting you know where you stand. He's obviously not expressing how he feels about you or what his motives are with you, you know what I mean? And then things aren't a very good sign. I have learned. Another one would be is if it's always words over actions. So just say he always says things to you, you know, he might say, oh, I'm going to bring you out for this dinner, or I'm going to bring you here, or we're going to do this together. Or just say, like, he might say something to you like, oh, like, I could see this going somewhere. Basically, if he's just saying things but he never follows through, that is a huge sign as well, because, you know, it's all talk. Anybody can talk and give it all that and say the perfect things, but following through with the actions is where you actually see that person for who they are. Because if someone's not following through with the actions, it's literally just words. Like, they're just saying it, they don't actually mean it. Because if somebody meant what they were saying, they would always follow through with the actions. I'd say another one would be if he doesn't talk about commitment, because I feel like if somebody won't talk about commitment and like that subject makes them like uncomfortable, there's a reason for that. And a lot of the time that reason is that they're using you and they're getting their cake and eating it. I don't know if you're sleeping with this guy, but if you are sleeping with this guy, I'd say, you know, being selfish in the bedroom, that is a huge one. If someone is only concerned about themselves and getting themselves off, that says a lot. Another one would be if you've not met his family and friends. Now this is kind of like like a tricky one, because I've been dating people in the past and I have met their family and friends, but in the end they were using me, right? So this can be a bit of a tricky one, you know. Sometimes they will introduce you to family and friends to make it seem like more than it is, if you know what I mean. I'd say another one would be if he never takes you out. So like if when you guys are together it's always like Netflix and chill, or it's like going for drives in his car or whatever it may be. If he's not actually like bringing you out for dinner or bringing you like cinema or just bringing you anywhere like in public, I feel like that is a huge one, because I've noticed this in the past with guys, and you know, if they're not properly bringing you out, that does say a lot. I'd also say if you don't actually know him, like, you know what I mean, I think a lot of the time you can tell if you actually know somebody, and if you have a feeling that you don't actually know this guy, there's a reason for that. There's a reason why he doesn't want you to actually get to know him, and I'd say that would be another huge sign that he's using you, because if somebody is using you, they're not going to want you to get close to them and actually know who they are inside and the real them, if you know what I'm saying. I hope that kind of helps. That's only a few of them. Like, I could literally sit here speaking about it all day, but I can't talk about it for too long, so I hope that helps. I really do. What do you think when a boy uses distance as an excuse for not seeing you? Okay, right, well, the first thing I will say is that you need to get your ass away from him, because he's not worth your time. People do long distance relationships all around the world, like literally, like, you know, some people literally have to fly a day to see their other half, and they do that. If you want to make it work with someone and you genuinely want to be with someone, you will find a way. You won't find an excuse. Excuses really shouldn't matter if someone really wants to be with you. Like, if you really wanted to be with somebody, you would literally move mountains and oceans to be with that person and to see them, and no amount of time or money would matter, you know what I mean? Like, if somebody really did matter to you, you would make it your mission to get there and see that person. So if I was you, I would honestly just wipe your hands clean of him, because he's just wasting your time. He's literally wasting your time. You don't want to be with somebody who's going to make a pathetic excuse like that up as a reason for not seeing you. Like, it's not good enough. It's just not good enough. You deserve so much better, and there is better for you out there. So girl, please do me a favor and get out of there, because you're so much better than this. You're so much better than this. What age do you feel is right to lose your virginity? Were you ready, and do you wish you'd waited? Okay, well, first of all, what age do I think is right to lose your virginity? In my opinion, I honestly think it's completely up to that person. Like, obviously, as long as you are of age and it's legal for you to do so, but if somebody wants to wait for marriage, you know, that's up to them. And if somebody wants to lose their virginity the day that they become of age, then that's up to them. I don't think that there's a right age to lose your virginity. Everybody's different. Some people lose it young, some people lose it really old, some people never lose it, you know what I mean? And that is absolutely fine, you know, each to their own. I feel like with losing your virginity, people are ready at different times, you know what I mean? Like, it depends on a lot of factors, like, you know what I mean? Like, some people don't have a high sex drive, some people have a high sex drive, some people aren't bothered about losing their virginity, some people are very bothered about it. So I honestly think that it's completely up to that person, and like, nobody should be judged for doing either or. Was I ready? Girl, I honestly don't think anybody is ever ready to lose their virginity. Like, anybody. I've never heard one person say that I was ready, you know what I mean? I just woke up and I was ready. It doesn't really happen like that. It kind of tends to be something that just happens. You know, obviously on your first time, everything's a bit like what's going on? What do I do? Is this gonna hurt? Am I gonna bleed? But I feel like that's like the best thing about it, is because you're never gonna be ready, you know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of people like big it up to be this thing that it doesn't end up being. So yeah, I don't know. I just don't think anybody will ever be ready. And do I wish I waited? No, I don't wish I waited, because I was in a relationship with the person and I was very, very, very much in love with this person. Like, whoo! In love. So I don't wish I waited. And I also don't believe in regretting things. Like, you know, I like to believe that everything happens for a reason, and if it happened that way, then let it be, you know. And why wish you waited when you obviously didn't wait? So there's no point in wishing, because you can't go back and change it. So just accept it and be happy with it. Okay, so if you were cheated on twice by the same fella, would you go back to him, or do you think that they can actually change or will always remain a cheat? Okay, baby girl, We about to spill some tea. Okay, so I can actually talk from my own experience here. Well, first of all, I'm just going to say I 110% do not think you should go back to this guy. Why, you may ask? Because your girl, Jessie, done it. I done it. I was cheated on and I was betrayed and I kept sticking by that guy and he kept doing it again and 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 again. And again. And I forgave this boy so many times. And, you know, every time he'd be crying and it's like, I'm sorry and it's never going to happen again. And, you know, I'm going to delete these dating apps and I'm going to do this and I'm going to show you and like prove to you that this is never going to happen again. Girl, don't believe it. Don't buy it. Once a cheat, always a cheat. I don't care what anybody says. I honestly believe that. I have had enough experience now to see that, you know, people don't change. You know, a leopard never changes its spots. This boy has done this to you twice already, and a saying that I love and I always go by is, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And that is so true. And fool me 3 times, well, Jesus, then like I'm just an absolute gobshite altogether. You know what I mean? You know, if someone gets away with something and you forgive them, you know, they have no initiative to change. You know what I mean? Because they're not losing you. You know, they're thinking in their head, oh, this girl's just going to stick by me no matter what. Like, she's that in love with me. She's that crazy about me, you know. And he's playing you. That's exactly what these boys are doing. They're playing with you because they're getting away with it and they're having their cake and eating it. And like, you know, they're getting the best of both worlds. Well, don't give it to him, girl. Do not give it to him because this is ridiculous. You do not deserve this. He'll do it again. I assure you that. You're honestly wasting your time. You're so much better than this boy, and there is a guy out there who will never ever dream about treating you like this, and you need to remind yourself of that. I know it's really hard when you're in this position and you're really in love with this person. Trust me, I know. Partly why I stuck by that guy for so long and, you know, kept forgiving him. But as I say, you know, a leopard never changes its spots, so. Okay, so what is your opinion on men watching porn while in a relationship? Any advice on how to deal with insecurities that come along with your partner watching porn? Okay, so I have been in the exact same position that you are currently in, and it is a really difficult one. Like, it is tricky. I know how insecure this can make you feel. Like, oh boy, I know. The funny thing is that I've had this conversation with so many women in my life. Like, you know, this conversation does be brought up, so it's obviously a topic that does affect us females. Okay, so I just want to say that a few years ago I would have had a very different opinion on this topic than I do now. My opinion now is a lot more mature and a lot more, you know, open-minded, whereas my opinion a few years ago would have been very sassy and like, hell no, baby boy, we need to talk. Sit your ass down. Okay, so first of all, you know, a lot of men, or most men, not all men, but a lot of men watch porn on a regular basis. And a lot of women watch porn on a regular basis. But I think more men watch porn than women watch porn. But women still do watch porn. You know, I've spoke to women who have watched porn while in relationships, so it does work both ways. But I just want to say, you know, porn, it's a very visual thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, when somebody's watching porn, they're not like, oh, I want to be with this woman. You know, it's a very visual thing. I'd also say that it doesn't affect or change how he feels about you. Like, you know, he's still coming back to you at the end of the day, or like coming home to you. You're the one he loves. You're the one he cares about. You're the one that matters to him. You know what I mean? Like, these naked girls he's watching on his computer screen and getting off on, you know, he doesn't care about these girls. It's just a visual act to him. You know, men are very different to women. Like, us women, like, we're very sensitive to like things like this, and it really does make us feel very insecure and stuff. But it 100% doesn't change or affect the way he feels about you. Like, it really doesn't. And I feel like that's something we need to like drill into our heads, because we tend to look at it as like, you know, oh, like, that's near a form of cheating, like, you're you know what I mean? But that's not how it is to them. You have no control over if your boyfriend's watching porn or not, so why let it control you? Like, you know what I mean? Why let it control so much of your thought process and like take up so much space in your head? Like, they're gonna do it anyway. That is literally it. Like, they are going to do it anyway, whether we like it or not. They're going to do it, and that's what I had to learn the hard way. I used to let this affect me so much, and it used to make me feel so insecure. I remember getting very upset about this, but I had to learn they're going to do it anyway. it doesn't affect how they feel about you. They still love you. You're the person that they're with at the end of the day. You're the person that they're physically having sex with. You know, they're not just watching this woman having sex. Like, you know what I mean? You're obviously what's important to them. Watching porn is something that a lot of men do from a very early age. Like, you know, from as soon as they hit puberty, like 12, 13. It's something that they do from very early on. So that it's kind of like a habit to them. And they're like, oh, well, if I don't masturbate, you know, the load might blow. All this crap. But like, they really do think like that, you know what I mean? Like, it's such a habit to them, and it's no more. When I was in your position, I just tried to get it out of my head as much as possible. I was like, you know, I can't change this. He's gonna do it anyway, even if he tells me he's not doing it. I know he's doing it, so what is the point in fighting over it and like having to go at him about it, you know? He's not going out and physically cheating on you and sleeping with girls. Okay, so how do you not worry about not having male attention and still feel good in yourself? I thought this was a really good question, because I feel like this is something that affects a lot of us girls. So I've been in the exact same position as you before, and when I realised that I felt like I always had to be talking to someone, like not dating or seeing somebody, but you know, at least speaking to somebody, whether that be a boy or a girl, on quite a regular basis. When I realised that that was the way it was, and that I did need to always be talking to someone, I was like, okay Jessica, we've got a problem here. We need to take a step back and reevaluate. Reevaluate. Is that the word? Is that even a word? Who knows? It is now. Reevaluate the situation, okay? And that is exactly what I'd done. When I realised I did need male or female attention, you know, to kind of feel a bit better in myself and like feel better about myself, I took a step back and I was like, okay Jessica, you know, something needs to change here. So what I actually done is I made a vow to myself that for the next number of months, I'm going to do me. I'm not going to be speaking to anybody. I'm not going to be dating anybody. I'm not going to be going out with anybody, obviously. I kind of just said to myself, Jessica, you need some time for yourself where you're not speaking to anybody. You're not dating anybody. You're not in a relationship with anybody. You just need time by you. Literally just you, family and friends, and nobody else. And that's exactly what I've done. And I actually done it for just under 9 months. And then after like them 9 months, I kind of started talking to someone again and ended up dating them for a while. But basically that is what I kind of said I needed to do, and it actually helped so much. Like, it made the world of difference. If you genuinely need male attention to feel good about yourself, that is not good. That is really, really, really bad. And a lot of that has to do with our ego, like, you know what I mean? Like, it makes us feel better, like it boosts our ego, you know what I mean? We're like, oh, he thinks I'm pretty. You know what I mean? But tell yourself you're pretty. Like, Jessica, you're pretty. I'm pretty. You know what I mean? Like, be you, do you, praise yourself, love yourself. I feel like that's what I done in them just under 9 months. Like, I was focusing on myself and like, you know, learning about myself and learning to be happy and feel good in myself without anybody saying or telling me anything or giving me any attention or praising me or anything, you know what I mean? And it actually made the world of difference. Like, even after I dated that person and that finished, like, I didn't start talking to somebody new because I didn't feel like I needed to, you know. That ended, we stopped seeing each other, and I was like, fine, that's fine, I want to be on my own again for a while, you know what I mean? So I feel like if you do need attention off male or females, that's not good. And I feel like you need to take some time out for yourself, and I mean complete time out, like not even speaking to people, because that is a form of attention. How do you cope with the bi erasure that happens when you are in a monogamous relationship with a guy? Right, okay, listen up, baby girl, do a dance, sing a song. This makes me furious. Like, this makes my blood boil. Okay, what frustrates me so much is when a bisexual girl gets in a relationship with a guy and, you know, they're in a monogamous relationship, then people then say that she's straight, and they're like, oh, you're obviously not bisexual, you're in a relationship with the guy. But then, wait, vice versa, if a bisexual girl gets in a relationship with a girl, people are like, oh, you're gay, you're not bisexual. We literally cannot win then, because being bisexual means you're attracted to two genders. But if we go out with either one of them genders, you're basically telling us our bisexuality is invalid, because you're saying, well, you must be gay then, or you must be straight. But no, I'm attracted to two genders, but just because I meet a person that I really bloody like and I want to spend, you know, the rest of my life with, or I want to be with for a period of time, that doesn't mean I still don't like the other gender. It just means that I really like this person and I want to be with this person. I hate it. I actually hate it so much. Like, I honestly think that if you're in a relationship with a guy and, like, you know, bi erasure's going on and he's basically saying, you know, you're not bisexual because, well, you're going out with me, well, I do not think you should be with somebody that thinks like that and is that closed-minded. Because if you're in a relationship with somebody, they should accept you for who you are, and they should, you know, completely 100%, and not like doubt anything, not ask questions, none of that. And if somebody you're going out with is doing that, that is not the right person. You should not be with that person. Because if you're in a relationship with somebody like that, you're not going to marry that person. You're not going to be with that person for the rest of your life, because they're basically telling you what you're telling them isn't real. You're telling them your sexuality and they're saying, nope, not true. Haha, no, bye. No, get out me life then. Get out me life. But yeah, like, you ask how do you cope? I'd honestly say the way of coping is to not be with somebody that thinks like that and is that close-minded, and then also just, you know, if you're going to be with someone, make sure that they completely accept you for who you are. And you shouldn't be with somebody who doesn't accept you for who you are and is telling you your sexuality is invalid. That is not somebody you want to be with anyway. I like to not think too deeply into these things though, because I like to think in my head that the person that I am going to spend the rest of my life with is going to be completely accepting of me and is never going to make those judgments. And people who want to make them judgments are not people that I want to be associated with anyway. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying? What do you think about having really high standards when it comes to boys? Like, do you think it's healthy or not? And how do you lower your standards when they're impossibly high? Okay, well, first of all, I just want to say that I think having high standards is quite a good thing, because it means that you know what you want, and it means that you're not willing to settle for anything less than what you want and what you need. So I don't think having high standards is always necessarily a bad thing. What I do think is a bad thing is having unrealistic high standards. So if you've got unrealistic high standards and your standards are like, you know, something that no possible person could ever live up to, well, then I do think we have a problem. We all are flaws, like, we all have our own flaws. No individual human being is like what we consider perfect, do you know what I mean? We all have our flaws, we all have our good things about us, our bad things about us, and we're just human, you know what I mean? But I do think if it's just high standards you have, like, you know, if you've been treated like absolute shit in the past and you've learned what you do and don't want, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I think if you know in your head that no person could ever live up to your standards, then they are unrealistic. But I don't think there's anything wrong with having high standards, like, you know what I mean? I would say that I have high standards now, but they're not unrealistic. Like, they're definitely standards that people can live up to, because I know people in relationships where they're treated or, you know, said certain things are this way, you know what I mean? Do you think if a certain boy likes you but can't break up with his current partner at the moment, that you should wait or move on? Okay, so from your message I'm taking it that, you know, this boy has told you he's liked you even though he's in a relationship, and if that is the case, I would honestly say run for the hills and please do not wait. Because if he's telling another girl while he's in a relationship that he likes her and has feelings for her, he will do the exact same thing to you if you date him or are in a relationship with him. Especially since he's in a relationship with a girl that he's saying he can't leave, but at the same time he's telling another girl that he has feelings for her, that he likes her. Like, that says so much about the guy. That really tells you everything you need to know. If you got with this guy and you actually waited around, he's only going to do the exact same thing to you. He will probably break your heart. This is the kind of guy we don't want to be associating ourselves with. You know what I mean? So I honestly would say you should move on and definitely not wait. I'm 17 and I haven't had a real relationship yet. I've dated guys, but they were either fuckboys or it just was nothing serious. I feel weird being a virgin soon, going to uni, so do you think it's normal / there is an age for losing it? So as I was saying earlier, honest to God, girl, I would not feel weird about it. I know what you mean, because you're going to college and, like, most people have lost it, and, like, you know, it's something that's talked about a lot in college, you know, having sex and people having sex and their experience, and it's like sex, here's condoms. I do get where you're coming from, like, going into college not having had sex when it is such a talked about thing in college, but I would honestly say not to worry about it. As I was saying earlier, like, every single person is ready at their own time. Like, no two people are ready at the same time. Some people are never ready, you know what I mean? And I wouldn't like be getting really worried about it or upset or like, you know, what is wrong with me, because there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Like, it just hasn't happened yet, and that's absolutely fine. And maybe it's better that it hasn't happened yet, because you obviously haven't found someone who you feel comfortable enough around in that situation and feel like you can be vulnerable in that situation. And if you haven't found somebody where you feel you can be them two things, then you shouldn't be having sex, you know what I mean? Like, especially your first time you need to be with somebody who you feel very comfortable with, you feel like you can be vulnerable around, because let's be honest, you know, having sex and like losing your virginity, like, it's a very difficult thing to do. Having sex in general and losing your virginity, like, you know, it's not just like a nothing thing, you know what I mean? It is a deal, especially to us women. Like, it is a big deal to us, like, you know, we're being very vulnerable, like, we're opening ourselves up, you know what I mean? Especially since our brains release oxytocin, I can't say it, but that hormone that like makes you fall in love basically when you have sex with somebody, which is not a good hormone, girls, let me just tell you. Get out. So if I were you, I'd honestly just own it. I'd own the fact that I haven't lost it, you know. I just tell myself, girl, it's gonna happen when it's meant to, with the right person in the right environment, and until then I'm just gonna enjoy my life, I'm just gonna do what I have to do, and I'm just gonna get on with it, and I'm not gonna worry about it, because there's no point worrying about it. If you feel uncomfortable with the fact that you're going into college and people might ask you like, oh, how many people have you slept with, or have you lost your virginity, if you're that uncomfortable about it, just lie. Like, just lie. Nobody's gonna know. If it really is worrying you that much that people might judge you and that is affecting you, just lie. Just be like, oh yeah, like, you know, I slept like with this person, or I slept with somebody, or, you know, just lie about it. Like, nobody's gonna know. But again, if it's not a big deal to you, like, just tell the truth, because nobody cares. Like, I've never met anybody who judges another person on their sexual choices. Like, it's up to you, you know what I mean? Okay guys, I'm gonna have to leave it at that, because I have so much footage. I have like an hour and a half of footage here, so I'm gonna have to edit that down somehow. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you enjoyed this, I could definitely do a part 2, so do let me know in the comments if you would like a part 2 to this, because I had so much fun sitting down and chatting all boy things. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all so extremely much, and I cannot wait to see you all in my next video. Mwah. Bye bye.